Hey everybody, and welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host Lex.
I'm your other host Dan, and we are your weekly video game news podcast here on Chipbit Radio at chipbit.net. Coming to you with all sorts of cool video game news this week. Before we get to that news, where can people find us, Lex? Besides right here, right now.
Oh, right
like
right
that
now.
Song, right here, right now.
They can find us on...
Something is happening.
You don't know what song.
I don't know the name. I don't know the rest of the lyrics or the band or anything. I just know it exists.
You can find us on all sorts of social media, including, but not limited to. Limited to.
It's pretty strictly limited to the ones we're about to list.
Facebook, Steam, YouTube, iTunes,
and Twitter.
Twitter.
Twitter is the fifth.
Twitter,
the fist of social media, as we like to call
it. Our Twitter handle is at DCTF Podcast.
And we are Don't Copy That Floppy on all of those other places.
Yeah. So, check us out there. Follow us. Tweet at us.
Leave us a review on iTunes.
Oh, definitely do that.
We have a show archive there, as well as on the chipbit.net website. If you go to the iTunes one and leave us a review, we really appreciate it. We have some really good reviews already.
We're also...
If I do say so myself.
You did say so yourself.
I did say so myself.
We're also getting new episodes up on YouTube if you want to subscribe to that channel.
As I continue to wrestle with Adobe Premiere.
Yeah, we're eventually going to have the full archive up on there, but right now the new episodes are definitely going to be on there.
Yes,
as
the full archive is a work in progress. It's chugging along. And there's something else along those lines as well. Now I can't remember what it was. So whatever.
What are the things we're talking about today? We got so much stuff.
We have some talk about legal affairs.
We have a couple legal... We have an update on legal affairs.
We have an update on legal affairs, and we have some new legal affairs that before the show we both agreed are kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Then we have some news about... it's some World of Warcraft news, actually.
R.I.P. and Pepperoni.
R.I.P. and Pepperoni is nostalgious. Well, we'll get to that. Blizzard flexing their muscles at some folks who were not doing something entirely legal, but whatever.
But also some cyber terrorists flexing their muscles at Blizzard.
Back at Blizzard, yeah. Also, we're going to touch upon along with that with this issue, JonTron of JonTron Show on YouTube did a little 8-minute rant video about this thing that Blizzard has done that we both thought was very well reasoned and
definitely
thoughtful. Got a little bit. So we got some Blizzard stuff. Got a little bit of Final Fantasy news. Got some news about just other games. Got some news about Pokemon.
Handsome
Pokemon. Things about Pokemon, especially the handsome ones. A little bit of Dark Souls news, as if you were not aware, Dark Souls 3 just came out.
Oh, yeah.
I've been playing that game. It's real tough.
Really?
The music is really good.
Oh, nice.
The gameplay is fun. In other words, it's a Souls game. But that's not a bad thing. Got some news about Danny DeVito. Not probably what you're going to want to hear about Danny DeVito.
Oh, no.
In light of previous times we talked about him, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. And we got a little bit of news about our good friend Kratos of the God of War series.
He needs more people to kill, so he's moving to a different country.
He's moving to a different country. I like the idea of him just moving from Greece to, like, Sweden or something. Packing up and getting a little apartment. He's all ready to go. Then we'll wrap up with a look at games that are about to come out, and games that just came out, and all that business. So let's start with an update to the lawsuit in progress, sort of, by Digital Homicide, famed poor game developer of Slaughtering Ground, and Jim Sterling, the man who went on the internet and told everybody how bad their game was. And was merely speaking facts when he said this, I might add. So on GoFundMe, Digital Homicide, this developer, they've made a GoFundMe page to fund a lawsuit against Jim Sterling for slander and what's the other law word that they're using here? But it's basically for slander. Basically saying that he brought a bunch of grief down on them by talking bad about their game. But this is all coming off the heels of them kind of fighting back against him when he made his comments about their game, And all in all, nobody's been super mature about this whole situation. And it's clearly spiraled out of control to the point that they have made this GoFundMe page for their lawsuit. They had a goal of $75,000 on this GoFundMe. It has been 29 days since it
Just about a full month.
About a full month, and they have made a whopping $225.
From 10 people?
From 10 people. So there are 10 people who care about justice in the world. And I feel like this is a great example of the power of crowdfunding to see that, yes, you may not have thought it possible, but 10 people can raise $225 in just 29 short days.
29 short days.
If they need to.
It's,
Isn't that an inspiring story about the human spirit?
I mean, you see that it's 10 people, and I'm like, oh, this is just like their family and like close friends.
It has to be.
Because there's...
Like, the $100 is probably just one of them. Somebody gave $100. One people gave 5, a couple 25s. Like, it's totally just their friends. Nobody else. Nobody else.
So we're trying to do consistent updates on this so that you'll know if that 11th person donates.
I want to see if this ever... Like, I just want to see if this ever gets updated. I want to see if they give up.
Well, look at how recently they updated it.
I know.
11 days ago.
11 days ago. That's not that long ago.
What were they saying in that update?
Another update by the end of the week, but that hasn't happened. Current funds are being used when received for subpoenas if fees end up being involved and certified mailing. That's, yeah. They're trying. They're sure trying. Anyway... We'll update you more on that. Let's get to a legal story that involves people with lots of money.
Yeah, a lawsuit that, like, actually kind of matters.
Kind of.
Kind of.
But we'll get to that.
Maybe not.
What's the gist of this one here, Lex?
Okay, so, as some of you may have heard, and we discovered on this past Tuesday, which was, it doesn't give dates on Kotaku. I hate you, Kotaku.
Kotaku's so poor. You're so poor.
Tuesday was
as we read an article.
Was the 12th.
Tuesday was the 12th.
April 12th.
The day Versus came out.
Oh,
there
was a little happiness in the world, but also a little sadness. So GTA producer Leslie Benzies,
yes, president of Rockstar North,
has sued Rockstar. In response, Rockstar.
Why would the president sue his own company?
We're gonna find out.
What is this anime-like plot development?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Leslie Benzies is too kawaii.
His lawsuit no jutsu.
He just wants Rockstar to notice it.
But if he uses that, he'll lose all his money.
In response to him suing Rockstar sued him. Because why not?
It's just what rich people do.
Yeah.
When they get sued, they just sue every other rich person.
So Leslie Benzies is one of 3 heavy hitters at Rockstar. The other 2 were, I believe, brothers, or they might have been cousins, but I think they were brothers. Whose names are... Oh, not at the beginning of this article, so now I can't find them. I'm just blanking on what their last name is.
Yeah.
But the 3 of those guys basically led Rockstar into the fame that they have achieved today.
Yeah, you said starting around the time of GTA 3.
Yeah, I think I read that, yeah. And they did a lot of good work. I mean,
yeah,
Rockstar's done a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, put a lot of good games.
But...
that's what the show's about. That's what we're talking about.
But apparently recently, following
the launch of GTA 5,
it
seems like the company was trying to push Mr. Benzies out a little bit.
Yes. Now, so he decided to go on sabbatical, which is not a thing I thought you could do at a job like that.
You can when you're the president.
Yeah, when you have tons of money, you can kind of do that on any job you want.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But
who's going to tell you you're not allowed to?
Apparently those other 2 guys.
Not the security guy.
Not the security guy. Man, we're going to get to him in a minute.
He's great.
This is an exciting story.
My favorite part.
Dan Hauser and Sam Hauser are the other 2 guys.
Oh, the brothers.
Yeah.
That means the 2 brothers trying to get this other guy out of there. Keep that money in the family. They probably have an incest child together that they plan on giving all the money to.
There's no evidence
I guess
for
just
that.
Adopted, which means... I guess
It's not that.
I guess it's not really incestuous.
Yeah, it's not as weird when you think of it that way. Anyway,
I'm gonna call it that because screw them. I'll drag their names through the mud. I don't care.
So
go ahead, fund your incest baby with this GTA 5 online dollars.
So pretty much, these three guys make the most money at the company. They have contracts that give them royalties.
Yes.
On the GTA games.
Yes.
And that's going to be important later. So, Benzies decided to take a sabbatical, or he was asked to take one. He went, he took a sabbatical, and then he went to come back at around the end of March or the beginning of April. And he went to the door of the company and used his little swipe card to swipe himself in, and it was deactivated. It didn't work.
Yep.
So he had to flag down a security guard. I just assumed that the doors were glass, and that the security guard was inside. He was like, hey, I know you were friends because I've worked here for so many years, and so have you.
The security guard pointed at himself and was like, me?
No, he was probably like, oh yeah, Leslie, here, let me let you in.
And he saw a water cooler and was like, that?
So
no, yeah, he'd probably just let him in, no sweat.
Yeah, because they probably knew each other because they both worked there.
Walked by each other every day.
Yeah. So he let Leslie in, and then Leslie went to the floor, probably the top floor, where his office is, and employees there, a manager of some sort, was just like, oh, you can't be here, you have to get off the premises. And Leslie was like, wait, what?
Wait, why?
But
why though?
So he did, because he didn't want to cause a scene, I suppose.
And then he sued them.
And he was basically saying, like, you guys are trying to muscle me out of a company that I am a big part of. Now, the Housers... Now I can only think of Doogie Howser.
Oh, no.
But no, the Housers said, when they countersued, they said the reason they were suing is because he breached contract. Uh-huh. And the reason why he breached contract was because prior to him leaving, or around the time that he was on sabbatical or something, he was saying, hey, the Housers and myself all have contracts where we split the royalties from the GTA games.
Yeah, it says they all have the
evenly.
same contract.
Yeah. And he was saying, like, well, I want a bigger share because I was a bigger part of those games, or at least I feel like I was a bigger part of those games. Yeah. And whether that's true or not, that's what he tried to do, and they went to negotiations and were not successful in those negotiations. So his contract did not change.
I imagine a lot of tantrums were thrown.
Probably.
Pens were probably tossed around the room, and people went...
They probably broke the conference phone
kind of
at the
swung
table.
Their hands around impotently. That's what I'm imagining.
Someone tore the ceiling projector off.
But I don't want my $150 million in royalties. I want my $152 million in royalties.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, pretty much. So, so they were countersuing him because they're like, hey, you can't try and renegotiate. These contracts are set in stone. You can't do that.
Binding legal contracts.
Yeah.
Like, it's not how this works.
It's not how this works. You can't do that. And So I guess they were mad at him for trying to do that, and that's why they locked him out. Yes. They locked him out, to begin with. But this whole thing is ridiculous. As we were saying earlier, the only good person in this story is that security guard.
He's a great guy.
Because it's like, oh, you're locked out? No, let me
He might have even known that they were trying to oust this guy, but he's like, no, that's messed up. I'm gonna let him in, because he's my boss.
Leslie's my bro.
And he went up to the boardroom where there was like a little sign on the door, a little paper sign with marker on it that said no Leslie's allowed.
Oh, there probably was.
They're like, get out, stupid. But yeah, what this really comes down to, like we talked about before the show, is millionaires fighting over who gets more millions.
I know, it's really...
So it's hard to be sympathetic to any of them.
To any of these three guys. They all just come off like huge jerks.
Like super greedy. Like one of them can't just say, like, yeah, okay, I'll take 140 million instead of 150 million. And just end the whole argument.
Because we gotta remember...
just being like, yeah, I'll just take 10 million less dollars.
Yeah. I'll still only be making more than $100 million.
Is that like hard? I mean, I've never been in the position where somebody's like offered me this amount of money, so I don't know. But somehow I feel like if I was making $150 million from this game, and then someone said, we're gonna have some problems if you don't take a cut and only take 140, I'd probably be like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. That's more money than I need to live the entire rest of my life.
The other thing you got to remember, though, that makes it even worse, is the 150 million is just the royalties, but these guys have
a salary too.
Yeah, they have a salary, and they've been working on these GTA games since 3. So
Which was in like 2000 or 2001,
and all those and 3, 4, and 5 were all wildly successful. So
even the offshoots were successful.
Yeah,
you have like a Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost in the Damned and all that stuff.
So all 3 of these guys are already millionaires,
and Rockstar makes other games too.
Yeah, the Warriors game, quite good.
Warriors, that is a good game.
Quite good.
It's an unsung treat of a video game.
Kind of like how the movie, it's like a cult game in the same way the movie was like a cult movie.
Which is probably kind of what they were going for.
I think so.
That
makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, so it's hard. So these guys were already millionaires before they even got embroiled in this stupid royalties dispute.
It's really dumb, and I don't think we should even give it any more time.
I think they all just suck. Leslie, for one thing, your name Leslie, so you're hopeless.
He whines like a Leslie.
He does.
To any Leslies listening, I'm not sorry.
And Sam and Dan, I mean, your parents just weren't very creative with your names. I'm sorry. At least Leslie, they got kind of creative, even if they gave him a woman's name.
Your last name should be Hoser, because that's what people in Canada would call you, because you're jerks.
Oh man,
that was a stretch, but I'm gonna stick with it.
Man, you really showed them.
I'm not taking it back.
Anyway, my point is,
I showed those millionaires.
My point is, all 3 of you guys suck, and you should all suck it up. And I hope that your mutual lawsuits bankrupt all 3 of you, and doesn't hurt Rockstar, because Rockstar actually still make really good games.
Yes, and there's lots of lovely people who I'm sure work there,
yeah,
maintaining GTA Online and doing a wonderful job every day.
Just those 3 guys go die.
Yeah. Speaking of people being jerks. Guess who's been a jerk lately?
Blizzard
Entertainment. They're kind of being jerks. So, I suppose we should frame this story. Blizzard recently shut down a private World of Warcraft server called Nostalrius. Now, why that is important takes a little bit of explaining. The gist of it being that World of Warcraft has been out now since 2004. The game is released in 2004. The vanilla version of the game is very, 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 very different from how the game is now, after so many expansion packs. And I believe it was after the second expansion, Wrath of the Lich King, that things really started changing. They started shifting the gameplay a bit, they changed how a lot of systems worked, they changed the maps of the world, like a whole lot of things were added and changed and minimized and whatever. So currently it's a much different game than it ever was before. There's a lot of people who don't like that. World of Warcraft subscriber numbers have been on a pretty sharp decline for a while now. It's leveled off a little bit, but they're nowhere near where they were at peak numbers during like Wrath of the Lich King. So a lot of people are making private servers, which is, as you might guess, not strictly legal. As Blizzard owns the IP, Blizzard owns the game, Blizzard owns their own servers, and they make money off of this. They don't really like the idea of people setting up their own servers, doing the coding, and getting World of Warcraft in some form to run off that server so people can register on it and play. That's what Nostalrius was. It was a privately run World of Warcraft server that ran the vanilla version of the game. So you just got the bare bones, basic version of the game as it was when it released. Which a lot of people love, because a lot of people like to go back to that and play it with other people, because the game was so much different at that time.
Yeah.
Nostalrius had over 800,000 registered players, like 150,000 active players among those, which for a private server is crazy.
Yeah, that's so many people.
They, unlike a lot of other private servers, do not take money from their players. They don't take donations. They don't take any of that stuff. There's nothing you can pay to win for. They didn't change the rules of the game at all. It's just play vanilla WoW. And a lot of people put a lot of time into getting this up and running and maintaining it. They even have the customer service and stuff. Like, if you looked up the server, it's crazy. Like, it's great. Blizzard just took this whole server down. They issued them a cease and desist, and the people running Nostalrius said, unfortunately, Blizzard has issued a cease and desist. We have to shut the server down. They gave a time frame, and as you can see in this picture, there's an article from April 11th on Polygon. All these players logged into Nostalrius to say goodbye to the server. They did a big parade from city to city, like all these players just before the server shut down, and it's kind of cool. There's a lot of cool screenshots from it. And then that was it. It's gone. And a lot of people are really mad about this. And I'm kind of mad about it too.
Who was justifiably angry?
Mr. Jontron.
Mr. Jonathan Tronson. I assume that's his full name.
His name is John Jafari, actually.
No, that doesn't make sense.
So Jontron, of YouTube fame, makes great videos. Check him out. Put up a rant about this, and he doesn't usually do that kind of thing. He says that in his video, actually. But it's just a video of him talking about this because he played a little bit on Nostalrius. He had a character registered on this server, and he loved vanilla World of Warcraft in the early times, but he hasn't played it in quite some time because he doesn't like the game anymore. And he criticized Blizzard for doing this, and basically said, why do you feel the need to just get rid of this and pretend it's not a thing that anyone wants, instead of embracing it and putting up your own legacy servers and charging people for it? Because people will play it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if Blizzard was announced they were starting their own legacy server, and then they were like, okay, well now Nostalrius and other servers like that need to shut down because we have our own.
Yes.
That would be totally reasonable.
But they've said multiple times they have no plans on ever doing that.
Yeah.
And in Jontron's video, he actually shows a clip from a BlizzCon.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh, man.
So a guy...
So scummy.
A guy who's clearly in cosplay, he's got like this dark hood on, is asking a question of the creators.
Asks, do you have any plans on putting up servers so that people can play the game in earlier forms? Like legacy servers? And the guy on stage, one of these Blizzard guys, I don't know who.
Might have been mixed, I'm not sure.
Metsu?
I don't know how to pronounce his name. I just remember seeing his name on all the concept art for everything.
Yeah. No, Metzen's a different guy. He does D&D art.
Oh, okay.
But, or maybe it's the same guy, I don't know. But this guy just says no. And he says it in like a really jerky way. And then goes on to say, you really don't want that either.
You think you want it, but you don't.
Who is he to say what this kid wants?
Also, who is he to argue with 800,000 people
who were registered on a vanilla WoW server? Like, it's absurd. The authority with which he said it, and just the dismissive rudeness with which he addressed like this person who's clearly a big World of Warcraft fan was shocking to me. I'd never seen that clip before, but like, wow, Blizzard. That's bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's really mean. Like, if I was that guy, I would unsubscribe from WoW forever. Because that's just mean.
Yeah.
Like, and totally unprompted. All you had to do was say, we don't currently have any plans on doing that, but we appreciate knowing that some people are interested in it. That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
That's a PR-friendly comment that doesn't commit you to anything. How hard was that?
How hard?
How stupid are these people?
Just try not to talk down to your fans. It's really not complicated.
Don't make your fan look like a jerk ass in front of an entire crowd of people. Like, holy crap. So, in light of all that, it comes down to, why doesn't Blizzard just do this? You can't tell me that they don't have the money to run a few extra servers as legacy servers, especially if they'd be making more money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if there is an interest in their fan base to play this, this is just potential money for them. Why don't they do it?
Is it some kind of pride of like, well, the current version of the game is so much better, we don't even want to have anything
well,
to do with it.
I assume it's sort of like a branding thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the version of the game, and this is what we've spent all this time building up, but we don't want people to think of it a different way.
Right.
And on the one hand, I kind of understand that, but on the other, like, the numbers don't lie.
Yo, Blizzard used to be cool, and what you're telling me right now is some corporate ass shit.
It is. That's true.
And I don't like it. Like, that's because you're right. You're 100% right. But that's like the nail in the coffin. That's like, Blizzard's gone. They're not cool anymore. Overwatch. They're jerks now. They're making MOBA games and crapping on their fans and just being D-bags. In general. It's because they partnered with Activision. Everyone knew it would poison them slowly from the
Activision. But as I was saying, the numbers don't lie. You've got your bleeding subscribers. I looked up at the end of last year, the numbers were at 5.5 million subscribers.
Yeah. After a peak of like 12 or 13 around the time of Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah, so
going into Cataclysm.
So it's not like nobody's on there, but it's significantly lower.
That's the majority of people you had at your peak have stopped playing.
Yeah. And you could pick up an extra, like maybe not 1 million, but you could probably pick up like 500 million. Or, I'm sorry, 500,000? Not 500 million. You're not going to do that. Unless you release it in China.
Oh, no.
But no, like you could probably pick up 500,000 on a legacy server.
Yeah.
That's
at least. That's money.
It's money. It's good money.
It's more money than it would take you to run the server.
And the other thing is, it's a legacy version, so the server would literally require like less power and maintenance because it's running like more simplistic code.
Yeah. There's a petition addressed to Blizzard that some of the people, the team running Nostalrius, put up that has 73,000 supporters already. It's on change.org. It's an open letter directed at Blizzard President Michael Morhaime. So if you want to go sign that, go for it. Might get somewhere.
Oh, I don't remember where I read this, but I read that the people who created Nostalrius posted, because like when you set up a server like that, you can't just like install the vanilla version of the game.
No, and JonTron talks about that a little bit too.
You have to have all sorts of like code that you have to create and stuff.
Know what you're doing.
Yeah. Apparently, all of those assets and all that code has been released into the wild of the internet.
Really?
Yeah. The guys who ran the server was just like, everybody wants this thing, you should have it.
Huh. Cool.
So we might see some more
shenanigans with
legacy servers pop up.
We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Blizzard, a couple days after that, on April 13th, Blizzard is fending off a potential Lizard Squad cyber attack on Battle.net now.
Oh no!
And when you posted this article, posited that maybe some of those people on Lizard Squad used to play on Nostalrius.
They were just upset.
I wouldn't even be that surprised, to be honest.
Lizard Squad would play vanilla WoW.
They would, if this has something to do with it,
No, there is no concrete evidence that Lizard Squad was behind this.
I mean, who can even say anyone could hack them and call themselves Lizard Squad?
This is true.
Too. I just don't really know.
But DDoS attack, distributed denial of service, which
everybody's favorite.
Yeah, we've covered those before on the show.
It's the most common way to mess with a network.
Yeah, because you're just flooding the server with too much data, so then it grinds to a halt and crashes.
Yep.
Their servers are down for I believe it was Hearthstone, maybe the Overwatch beta as well, but more importantly, like Diablo and I want to say StarCraft 2, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
They and right before it happened, supposedly there was a Lizard Squad tweet that just said "Get ready," but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Get ready.
And then after it happened, Lizard Squad took credit on Twitter, and Lizard Squad continued to be huge jerks about everything, like when they tweeted. Arrest us.
Yeah. So we'll see how this shakes out, I guess. It's just the latest in all Blizzard Squad's business.
Shenanigans.
Messing with people. This time it may be somewhat warranted, as long as the motivation is that Blizzard are being jerks.
I don't think if it was Lizard Squad, I don't think that's why they did it. I think they just did it because they're jerks and they're Lizard Squad.
Fair enough. Speaking of Overwatch, which you mentioned a short time ago,
we've got an update.
We did a story last time we broadcasted about the character Tracer from Blizzard's new game Overwatch, and a butt-tastic pose that she had as like a victory pose, where she's just facing away from the camera, holding her guns up and kind of like looking over her shoulder. And a bunch of people were like, I don't like this because it shows off her butt and it's a sexy pose and her character's personality isn't like that. So you should change it. And a ton of people got really up in arms about this, and Blizzard's like, okay, message received. We'll change it.
No big deal.
No big deal. And then they changed it. And there's two things of note. Number one, it's a way better pose. It's much more interesting. It's much more, had a lot more personality.
Yeah.
Number two, you can still see your butt.
It's still
perhaps even better than before.
It's still a sexy pose.
It's still a sexy pose. In fact, it is based off like a pinup poster.
Yeah. In the pinup poster, the butt isn't even as visible as it is.
Oh, well, that was just part of the time. Can't show a butt that clearly.
No.
That's too saucy.
Not in a pinup, Dan.
Not in a pinup. Those are tasteful.
Yeah. They paint those on the sides of jets.
So,
this was very odd.
I think it's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny, but it's just
it's weird. It's super bizarre. Game director Jeff Kaplan announced the creative team was removing this pose, and that kicked off this headline-grabbing argument about female form in video games, self-censorship, creative freedom, yada, 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 yada. Kaplan then put his foot down and said that what does or doesn't go into Overwatch is final, and noted that he and other creative staff were lukewarm to Tracer's original pose. The original criticism was enough for them to scrap it and go in another direction. So basically what they ended up saying after all this happened was, we didn't get rid of the pose because it was, sexy. We just got rid of it because we didn't actually like it very much, and it seemed like nobody else did, so we just made a better one.
Yeah. We just made it...
It's like the same pose, but way better.
Yeah.
So it was this weird situation where everyone was like, yeah! A victory! For, sexism in video games, or whatever. And then he's like, no, nah.
Not really.
It wasn't really. Which is simultaneously a little sad, but also kind of funny. I can see the humor in it, at least.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because I could not care less about this game or the controversy surrounding it.
Well, that's true.
Right now. They released that cool video.
Yeah, the CGI shorts continue to be really good. They released the one that has Tracer and Widowmaker in it. The two sexy ladies.
Oh yeah.
In Overwatch.
And they're, as always, Blizzard makes a damn good cutscene.
Oh my god, they do. They're so good.
They're really good at that.
I think the best description somebody gave was what if we took a Blizzard cutscene and then just made it a little more like a Pixar movie?
Yeah, it has that sort of feel to it. It's very anime at the same time as well. But yeah, art style wise, it has a Pixar sort of feel to it. A little more detail than Pixar usually has in certain things. But it's similar, character proportions and movement and things like that. It was cool. I gave the whole thing a watch and I thought it was neat. Still don't care about the game, though. So, in other news, Final Fantasy VII's remake is still on the way, and after being confirmed that this was going to be a multi-part series, some asked whether it would take the form of something like Telltale Games style 2 to 3 hour episodes, which to me sounds completely absurd, and I don't know why anyone would have thought that ever. So whoever thought that, you're dumb. What's wrong with you? With an article from IGN right here, apparently the latest issue of Game Informer, the producer of the game, Yoshinori Kitase, clarifies, saying that it will essentially be a full-scale game for each part of the multi-part series. If we're looking at each of these parts, one part should be on par with the scale of one Final Fantasy XIII game.
The Final Fantasy XIII, the benchmark.
The benchmark of kind of short, weirdly linear Final Fantasy games. So that's good news, in my opinion, but it's also not, to some people, I guess this is surprising, but not, I didn't think it was. When I heard it was going to be episodic, I assumed, they're going to, since when you take that game as it was, update the graphics, update the gameplay, make it so many more parts of that game are playable. They showed in the gameplay demo parts that used to be cutscenes that are now things you play. Mm-hmm. You add all of that content, and they said there's going to be new content, stuff that was playable that wasn't before. It becomes pretty obvious to me that they'd have to break it up that way. Because FF7 is such a long game that the effort that it's going to take to make these individual parts and add so much to them with the new graphics and everything means that they're going to be expanded not only content-wise, but in length of gameplay. So, what would have been the first 10, 15 hours of the game could span a full 30-hour game. And that doesn't surprise me in the least. I'm assuming we're going to get, 3 parts and each part is gonna, it'll end at a specific point in the story.
Yeah.
Whether the first part ends when you get out of Midgar or somewhere else remains to be seen. That's what some people are thinking. But this makes perfect sense to me, and I'm glad to hear it. Because I'm kind of interested in this FF7 remake, the more I see of it.
It does look really nice.
Very nice. I'm way more interested in it than FF15.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that goes without saying.
By a long shot, at this point. So I'm going to be following it closely, especially once we have more info on the first episode's release.
To me, so much of this is going to hinge on how long each part is, how many parts there are, and what the price point of each part is going to be.
That's another good point. Because he says these are going to be full games, essentially. Are they going to cost $60?
Yeah, is each part... So you can play $60 and you won't get the whole story, which would be a bummer, but you still get a whole game worth of content.
Ton of content.
So
it becomes a strange gray area.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly. Because it's not like Battlefront, where you pay $60 and you get a game that doesn't really feel like everything's there.
But then you get all that
DLC.
I
mean, there's plenty. They've been releasing a fair amount of free DLC.
That's true.
The core of it, the biggest parts of it, are in those $15 DLC packs, which they said there's going to be 4 of them.
So it seems like either way, it's going to be bad. It's not going to be as bad as in EA.
Like, if we're looking at like a $40 price point for these, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But I doubt that. It's going to be $50 or $60. I'd say almost without a doubt.
So yeah, like I said, I'm reserving judgment until the first part comes out and we can understand, like, what sort of standards they're setting for all of those. Yeah.
For the whole situation, for sure. But, excited to find out. They have me intrigued.
More excited than about Final Fantasy 15.
I think it was last episode where we talked a little bit about Stardew Valley.
Because everybody's talking about Stardew Valley.
Everybody's talking about Stardew Valley. It's a big thing right now.
It's so good.
It's really good. I love it. I've been playing the hell out of it. I'm not that far. The winter of my first year, but it's good. It's cool. I got a lot of ducks.
Got a lot of ducks.
Make that duck mayonnaise. You don't even know.
Ugh.
Oh, put a duck egg in there. Make that mayonnaise. Girl. That's been my life. But it's a very good game. Made by one guy over the course of 4 years, if you didn't know that. It's up on Steam. It's $15. It is worth $15. You will get your money's worth. Maybe not a game for everybody. If you like Harvest Moon, those kind of things, go for it. But it definitely won't engage everyone.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the Harvest Moon was always more of a niche audience.
You gotta know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
But with this game, at least, there's more to this than just that. There is, like, dungeon crawling, and it's not, like, the most amazing dungeon crawling, but there's action and social elements to the game. It's cool. And for $15, might as well give it a shot. Why not? It's not expensive. I got like, over 30 hours of playtime on that game already. And I'm like nowhere, so you get your money's worth. This game, however, has just broken the 1 million sales mark 2 months after its launch, which for an indie game made by one guy is pretty cool. Like, that's pretty amazing.
Good for that guy. He deserves it.
Good for that guy. He's rich now.
He can go and sue Rockstar if he wants.
Yeah. Because this dude worked as Eric Barone, who he's a theater usher, and now he made this game and released it on Steam, and he's making all this money. Like, what's going on with him?
Was it like a stage theater or like a movie theater?
Movie theater.
Oh,
yeah. But then he just made this game in his spare time, and now, like, wow, because like 1 million times 15 is 15 million, and I don't know what cut Steam takes, but he's still probably got a couple million out of it.
He could buy that movie theater.
I wonder how he's feeling about that right now. He has continued to update the game. He's been releasing small patches and things like that, and making tweaks, taking some advice from the fan community. The game's really moddable, so a lot of people have been modding it a ton, which he's all fine with. He's like, yeah, do what you want with it. That's cool. Seems pretty laid back.
Who's
He's currently in talks to bring the game to consoles as well.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who made Minecraft?
Notch. The new Notch.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't enter the pitfalls that Notch.
Yeah.
Because Notch got, like, severely depressed.
You have an interesting situation with this, too, because Notch, and this guy, both the game was available kind of prior to release. They were getting feedback from the community before the actual official release of the game, and I feel like partly Notch got so fed up and overwhelmed with listening to fans or had not listening to fans that he kind of pulled back and he started hiring these other people to work on the game for him, essentially. The first guy was a dude named Jeb, who was like, Jeb's going to work on all this stuff. And it seemed partly like a way to avoid contact with the fan base, who admittedly could be super obnoxious with their demands about the game and comments about the game. And I'm wondering how much that's affecting Mr. Barone here with, his community, how his community acts with him, because I'm sure there's still those people who are like, you messed up, you made the game this way, I think the game should be this way, and he's like, I don't care. And maybe he's more laid back about it than Notch, and has no problem just kind of ignoring that stuff.
Also, it would be interesting to see if this continues to grow, and he sells to a big company.
Yes.
And then what happens? Because I actually don't think that's going to happen with Stardew Valley.
Probably
because
not.
Minecraft was the kind of game that had a ton of mass appeal, whereas, like I said earlier, the whole Harvest Moon crowd is a little more niche.
Stardew is niche.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But it would still be interesting to see if that ends up coming about. And with the console release, I could see something like that happening. Like, possibly. If it does really well on console, if a company like Sony wants to come in and purchase it.
Yeah. But we'll see. And I don't know how much. He said he plans on continuing to support the game, but for how long? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows what will be added to it from here, if anything much. I mean, he's done patches and added a few little things, but will we get a significant expansion to this game at some point? Maybe, but who knows?
I mean, right now we're in the golden age of Stardew Valley, so jump on that train now.
Play it.
It can only go downhill from here.
I believe there's been talk about adding multiplayer to it. That'd be great. That's one thing which would actually be really cool.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect game for it. So Stardew Valley's got a lot of modders. Another good
This is great. I didn't know about this story.
It's a great story.
This is amazing.
It's a terrific story from April 4th. So it's a little old, but I don't care. It's on Polygon. An intrepid modder has taken upon himself to fix Aliens Colonial Marines. What a hero. What a hero for everyone. So this game was a disaster. Had this whole advertising lawsuit with our nemesis, Randy Pitchford.
Oh my god. Randy Pitchford.
So much. There's all sorts of problems. And this modder has put out a mod overhaul called ACM Overhaul. It's a heavily balanced and play-tested mod package by Templar GFX that fixes a lot of the game's gameplay balance, AI, and graphical problems. Xenomorphs are now much more terrifying foes thanks to substantial boosts of their ability to outmaneuver the player. They also need fewer attacks to bring down a human. Movement speed, acceleration, weight, jump power, and flight speed have been rebalanced so xenomorphs are extremely agile and move swiftly around the current levels. So basically he made the game more what it should be, like the old Aliens vs. Predator games, where the aliens are a credible threat, you're a much more fragile character. He made the AI not broken. He changed up whole gameplay elements and made the graphics nice and fixed tons of glitches. So awesome! If you want to play Aliens Colonial Marines, get it on the PC and download this guy's pack of mods. It makes it sound like it's actually a cool game.
Yeah!
Do it! Thank you, Templar GFX. You hero. Let's talk Pokemon. Pokemon live-action movie rights are at the center of a Hollywood bidding war. Who will play Pikachu on the big screen?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, undoubtedly.
He's the right size.
Pikachu. As long as he still only says Pikachu, I'm fine with it.
Exactly.
Oh, it's like a horrifying Always Sunny episode waiting to happen.
Oh my god, I hope they make an Always Sunny episode where they reference this.
Oh man. So yes, a bunch of movie studios are apparently battling for the rights to make a Pokemon live-action movie. A top-secret auction is reportedly coming to a close, with Chinese, Japanese, and US-based film companies vying to bring Pokemon to the big screen.
So the Japanese companies will not win, because Japanese live-action film industry is
poor.
Not.
It's poor.
It's not competitive.
No.
Chinese might win because I feel like they have enough money
They're
to throw
juggernaut.
at it. Yeah.
Even, I don't know much about their film industry, though.
But I also feel like the Chinese could probably just come to an agreement with the U.S. where the U.S. makes the movie and has American actors, but they just throw in some scenes that might happen in China or some sort of Chinese angle so that it will do well with their audiences, and then they'll
Yeah. Apparently, as far as American studios go, Warner Bros., Sony, and Legendary are all up for this. And Legendary just produced the upcoming Warcraft film. What a winner that looks like.
Actually, it doesn't look that bad.
It doesn't look awful, but I just...
Well, but it hasn't come out yet, so we don't know.
I can't...
It could still be
I feel like
awful.
I just can't be bothered, though, I guess is really what it is. It's like, oh, there's the orcs and there's the humans, and there's the one orc who looks more like a green lady than the other lady orc.
Because she's a half-orc, Dan.
Uh-huh. Tell me more.
Yeah, that's not the reason. The reason is because it's sexy.
They needed a hot lady.
Yeah, that's the reason why that's like that. If anyone listening at home,
because there's going to be people who see that movie because they only want to see one thing, and that's a hot green woman.
Yes,
that's
same
a
people.
subset.
Same reason. Some people see Star Trek.
Hot green ladies.
Yeah. But no, if anyone at home is thinking, no, she's a half orc. It's in the lore. That's why it's like that. No, it's because she's a hot lady.
Tell me about your lore.
It's like that's why she's in that movie.
So yeah. There's been a ton of animated Pokemon movies, obviously. But,
and the show, of course.
And the show, of course, the classic anime starring Satoshi.
Be the very best.
That's Ash's name in Japan.
I really like all of the King of the Hill is the best anime stuff when they mix it with Pokemon.
I do too.
That's some of the best.
I do too.
I mean, King of the Hill is the best anime are just fantastic memes.
King of the Hill is actually just the best anime. That's just true.
I mean, that's just true.
It's my favorite anime.
But I think the most successful memes have been the Pokemon ones. The DBZ one's also pretty good. Yeah. A couple good Sailor Moons in there.
My favorite character is Hankson.
Oh yeah, there was a great Kill La Kill I saw.
Oh yeah. I know the one you're talking about.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you see that? Did you see that link for the Kill La Kill story?
No.
Oh my god.
There's a Kill La Kill story and I missed it?
You missed it.
What is this Kill La Kill?
I'm going to tell you in a second. Let's talk about the handsome Pokemon first.
This is neither kill nor kill. So speaking of Pokemon, Japan, there's 500 Japanese Pokemon fans recently took a survey on who they consider to be the most handsome pocket monster out of all 722. Oh, so many now.
Why would that be the question? Who knows?
The results were translated by Anime News Network, and it turns out that Mewtwo emerged as the top choice. And I will quote the Pokedex entry in context of this, saying, it was created by a scientist after years of horrific gene splicing and DNA engineering experiments. So it was 50% men, 50% women between the ages of 20 and 30, and perhaps they found Mewtwo's horrific backstory alluring, as most Japanese 20-somethings would.
The Japanese would, yeah.
Yeah. Several other legendaries are on the list. And more. This article on Polygon says that several more conventionally attractive Pokemon. These Pokemon are kind of homely, but we can't resist. Rank highly. In the top 20 list, I'll just get right to it. Number 1 is Mewtwo.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Lugia. Number 3 is Charizard.
I'm thrown by every one of these. It doesn't apply.
A weird.
It can't apply to Pokemon.
It can, but only very few.
Only very
Such
few.
as some of the ones on this list, which we will get to.
But like Charizard is clearly cute. There's nothing handsome about him.
Charizard's cool.
That's
you're
true.
Thinking Charmander.
I'm thinking Charmander.
Charmander's cute. Charizard's like tough,
he's tough,
badass looking. He's a dragon,
but he's not a
really
dragon.
He's a pot-bellied dragon. What's wrong with that? He eats a lot. Suicune. Oh, sorry, I skipped Lucario because I hate him.
Oh yeah,
Suicune
Lucario sucks.
Scyther.
Scyther's another one that's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. He's edgy.
Ninetales. Ninetales is very elegant.
Yeah.
I guess. But I guess you could consider
handsome in the female
definition. Yeah, or just, Japanese pretty boy.
Yeah.
Kind of appeal. Arcanine. I think I could say Arcanine's a handsome Pokemon. Big, noble looking fire dog.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah. Darkrai, who is literally an evil ghost. and I don't believe is very handsome.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Machamp, who, if you're into like buff dudes,
Oh, he's totally handsome.
I can see it.
He's the only one on this list that I think I agree with.
He's pretty handsome. He's pretty ripped. He's swole. Machamp lifts.
Oh yeah,
he lifts with
of course he does.
Caesar, the evolution of Scyther, is less handsome than Scyther.
Yeah.
Garchomp, who is a jet shark. He's cool looking, but he's not really handsome. Gyarados.
Yeah, there's nothing handsome about
He's a Chinese
Gyarados.
myth dragon.
Yeah, he's got a big goofy mouth.
Yeah, he's always like, doesn't make any sense. Absol, who of course is on this list because he's literally dark, edgy past the Pokemon. So Japan loves it.
Yeah.
Houndoom, which is like Satan dog. Rayquaza, which is a giant green snake that flies. Groudon, which is just Godzilla, so sure. Godzilla's handsome.
Yeah.
Latios, which is like a weird jet bird.
Oh, yeah.
Spearow? The evolution of Spearow?
Yeah.
Which looks like a weird, like, whooping crane. Like a really raggedy one that looks like it's fell in like a garbage can. Spearow is not handsome. It looks like a messed up long chicken. Like, I don't know where they got that. And Zoroark, who's also like dark edgy fox guy.
So it would make way more sense if it was who are the coolest Pokemon.
Yeah.
Then this list would make sense to me.
Make a lot more sense.
And I'm curious as to whether there was something lost in translation.
I want to know what the Japanese word used for this was.
Yeah, or if the Japanese just have a different definition of handsome. Yeah. Where their definition of handsome is closer to something that's edgy and cool.
Because, like, in Japan, if you call someone smart in, like, English, like the English word smart, it means that they're slim. So if you say someone, you're looking smart today, it means, like, you're looking, like, slim and good, like, you have a good figure.
Well, that's interesting, because, like, that appears in some places in American slang, because you can refer to clothes as looking smart, like a smart suit.
But it more implies that you're looking, like, sharp or cool.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking good.
Yeah.
But it's not specifically, like, your trim, necessarily. Like, I don't know. I can't help but feel like something was lost in translation here.
We're spending a lot of time on this handsome Pokemon story.
It's interesting. I'm sorry. We're running low on time here.
But I want to talk about the Kill La Kill.
Oh yeah, Kill La Kill. What happened to Kill La Kill?
Polygon went and talked to they talked to Platinum Games
about Kill La Kill.
Well, they were like, Platinum Games, what kind of franchise would you make if you could make any franchise? And Platinum Games was like, oh, we want to make a Kill La Kill game.
This article's from 2015.
What? Why did this just show up recently?
Because this is the article, right?
Maybe we reported on this or...
Did we report on this in 2015? I can't remember.
I remember...
Kill La Kill or Berserk. This sounds familiar.
It does, but at the same time I watched this video and it was like a new thing that was showing up. And the video isn't linked here.
No, so maybe you found a different article.
Look at the email I sent you, because I sent you the video when the video posted.
I didn't even check the email because I pulled up all these articles on Facebook.
Because when the video was released, that's what will answer that question. Added 4/4/16.
Really? That's a really flattering screenshot.
Yeah. The director of Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah, because that's the same guy as the other thing. Is Polygon just like super late to the boat? Or they actually did an interview with him?
Yeah.
Okay. So he said this back in 2015.
So Polygon was following up.
Yeah. Polygon was following up and this guy was like, hell yeah, I'll talk about how I want to make a Kill La Kill video game. It'd be sick.
Maybe his thought process is if I keep talking about it and it gets more press, I'll get the license.
Yeah, maybe.
Which actually might happen and would be great.
That'd be so cool.
But he talks...
Trigger, the anime studio, a new show there started this season.
Oh, that's
if anybody like Kill La Kill and all their other stuff, check out Kizniver.
I heard about this, yeah.
First episode is pretty cool, second one's out tomorrow. I think it's going to be a Power Rangers show.
Good.
I don't know for sure, but I got a feeling. I got a gut feeling that this is going to be some Super Sentai.
So, but they asked him stuff about, like, the blood mechanic and...
Yeah, how they might make it work.
And he was just like, I mean, that show's already kind of like a video game and how that works.
Oh, yeah, totally. When that show was airing, the comparisons made to Metal Gear Rising were endless. so many people were making jokes about Kill la Kill, comparing it to Metal Gear Rising. So, like, it's a super apt comparison. Splatoon has been doing these Splat Fests. I like saying that. That are little competitions where everyone who plays Splatoon picks a side, and it'll be things like cats versus dogs, stuff like that. And there's more examples, but whatever. There's one coming up that is SpongeBob versus Patrick. SpongeBob SquarePants fame over here, which I think is awesome, and everybody seems to unanimously have agreed, like, this is perfect. How did this not happen sooner?
Yeah, it's the perfect cross-promotion.
It's the ultimate cross-promotion. Sea creatures. Just do it.
Just do it.
Like, it's great.
And Nintendo and Nickelodeon, I mean, there are companies that actually have very similar...
kind of family-oriented entertainment. Like, safe for kids, but fun for adults, too.
Yeah, they definitely both seem to strive for that. So it's a pairing that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Dark Souls, the most exciting Dark Souls news out right now. It's not that Dark Souls 3 got released.
Oh,
believe it or not.
Of course not.
The most exciting news is that a team went on Kickstarter, a team who had already launched a Kickstarter in 2014 for a board game, or tabletop game, have announced a Dark Souls board game. It's going to be made by Steam Forged Games. They are proud to announce that we're working with Bandai Namco, developing an exciting board game for the Dark Souls universe. As Dark Souls fans, we could not be more excited to be given the honor of developing a board game that embraces everything that makes Dark Souls the deep, compelling game experience that it is. It'll be launched on Kickstarter during April 2016. So it's up right now. You can go look at it. And they went on to say, or not yesterday, on the day Dark Souls 3 came out, April 12th, that this tabletop game will be the hardest board game you've ever played. What does that mean? I don't know. They say it's designed from the ground up. It's a hard exploration miniatures game for 1 to 4 players. So I'm assuming we're looking at kind of like one of those old tabletop Dungeons and Dragons-esque games. Like, it's a good example.
Hero Quest?
Hero Quest. Yeah, Hero Quest.
Or Talisman or something like that. Yeah.
And stuff like that. I'm expecting something kind of like that. The Kickstarter actually starts on April 19th, so it is not up yet. And we'll learn more once that goes up.
It's so weird.
Super weird.
Because when I think Dark Souls, I think of, the fast-paced action.
And super intense, skin of your teeth gameplay stuff going on.
And then you don't do that in a board game. It's not how board games work.
I'm curious.
Yeah,
I don't know how interested I really am in it. I just kind of want to know what it is.
Also, I call BS on how it's going to be the hardest ever, because I have played Arkham Horror, and there's no way it's harder than that. No way.
Let's see. We don't have much time.
Yeah, we're pretty much out of time. Do we have...
if you guys are interested in a rare canceled Beavis and Butthead arcade game...
we'll post it to our social networks.
Social media, and you can take a look at it. It looks great. And I wanted to say that Danny DeVito... In light of everybody hoping that Danny DeVito would be the voice of Detective Pikachu in Nintendo's upcoming title, Detective Pikachu, Mr. DeVito has tweeted, or there was an audience question asking Danny DeVito if he would voice Detective Pikachu in the video game. Danny DeVito said no, and said, "What the fuck is Pokemon?" So for anyone who was wondering, it's not happening. Danny DeVito doesn't even know what the hell Pokemon is.
Which even makes it better.
It makes it way better. It makes me want it more than I did before.
But that was why I was saying earlier how there should totally be an Always Sunny episode.
Absolutely.
Where they joke about this, because, oh my god.
It'd be so funny. And Kratos of God of War may be tackling Norse mythology because he ran out of Greek gods to kill.
He's killed them all. He needs to kill other
still
pantheons.
Using Kratos? Why don't they just make a new God of War game with a new main character set in Norse mythology?
Because then it would suck to be a different character.
Good. Kratos sucks. He's horrible.
He does suck. He's really
not a terrible character.
Not an interesting character at all.
They push him so hard. He blows. He's a jerk. Who even likes him?
And his whole backstory is I'm so sad because my family died.
Because I killed them.
Because you killed
Because
them.
I walked into a house and I didn't pay attention to who I was killing. Because I'm stupid.
Which, to be fair, is the kind of thing that happens a lot in Greek mythology. But
that's true. People do stuff because they're stupid a lot.
Yeah.
Like, they kill a lot of people they shouldn't just because they're like, duh! They swing the sword way too much. What's wrong with them? Did that happen a lot back in those days?
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were my daughter.
Has he had, in one of his games, has he taken down the Egyptian pantheon?
No.
Because
they're next.
Because that would make more sense than going to Norse stuff. Because it's like less of a geographical
There's some
shift.
neat concept art.
It does look cool.
Like, that's probably like some Yggdrasil world tree kind of stuff.
But it's bizarre because like Kratos still looks like super Greek.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's gonna be weird.
I'm big fat Greek Ragnarok.
Exactly. So we got upcoming games.
Yeah.
It is the 13th today?
Yeah. I mean, we should go over what just came out. Because as we've said before, Dark Souls 3
the 15th came out.
Ratchet and Clank re-released on PS4.
People are loving it.
A game called Stories Path of Destinies.
It does not have a Wikipedia page.
Came out on Windows and PS4. I watched some videos of this game, actually.
Oh, really?
It seems like it has some interesting ideas at play. The gameplay seems interesting, and the branching story paths in it seem very well thought out.
Okay.
I think the presentation and the writing of it are terrible.
Oh, wow.
But it's been getting generally good critical reception, so if you're not like an English snob like me, you'd probably enjoy it. So check that out if you want. FF9 is coming out on PC on the 14th. So that came out actually.
Yeah, yesterday.
15th.
That's actually something I've been meaning to pick up on PC.
Today, Bravely Second End Layer came out on the 3DS for anyone who like Bravely Default. Or just wants a cool JRPG.
I remember what Stories Path of Destinies is now. I read about this.
I mean, that title is all you need to know that people writing this are not.
Yeah.
Ace at
I don't understand why it doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
It's very strange.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Because it's not like a low profile game
anymore,
really. Like, what do we got here?
Goodbye
Banner
Despair.
Saga 2.
Yeah.
Goodbye Despair Danganronpa 2 on the 18th. Banner Saga 2 on the 19th. Star Fox Zero next Friday. I'm getting that.
Is it really coming out next Friday?
It's coming out next Friday. We're not going to delay it now. And I won't even have beaten Dark Souls 3 by then.
I have actually been hearing some really interesting things about Banner Saga 2. And Banner Saga 1 is amazing.
It's a good game. Yeah.
If they just took that same formula and like fleshed it out some more, it'd be great.
Which is probably
Yeah.
what it is. So.
But so pretty interesting. Some good releases just happened and are coming up.
Yeah, we're getting into that time when a lot of good stuff starts coming out.
Yeah.
We're moving into that summer release territory here. So look forward to all of that. And at this point, I think we're pretty much run out of stuff to talk about.
We're way out of time.
We're over time. We have been Don't Copy That Floppy, and we have gone over time again, because I'm sure we do this a lot.
I have been Lex.
I have been Dan.
You can check us out on all sorts of great social media, like Facebook, Twitter, Steam, YouTube, and iTunes.
Please go to iTunes and check out our show archive there and leave us a review.
That would be awesome.
Please, we would love that. Post to our Facebook, post to our Twitter. Keep an eye on our YouTube for videos going up. Yeah, we're also going to have an archive up there. And what was the other thing? There was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, and obviously chipit.net, where we broadcast live from on Fridays from 7 to 8. And you listen to Chipit Radio. Lots of cool chiptune music on there. Oh, it's so good. Some of my music is on there. Yeah, you made it. Yeah. You did it. I did. I can't write music. I don't know how to do that. I can play Dark Souls better than you, though. You can. Oh, my God. I'll lord that over you, Mr. Music Man. I'm like, I can't make music for crap. I'm like, how do I even beat the Asylum Demon? How do I even do it? Out. Don't even know. Man, all I want to say is you had trouble with Asylum Demon in Dark 1. You never get past the tutorial boss in Dark 3. Nope. That dude's legit tough. For, like, jumping right into the game. So, yeah, thank you very much for listening. And until next week, remember, don't copy that floppy.